Hey guys, Taro here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We're on road to Kharkov, playing for spawning in the north. We have Syraw as the OKW, and his loadout is Firestorm, Special Operations, and Luftwaffe Ground Forces. Syraw around rank 170. The south we have VindicatL as the US forces who straight away locked in heavy cavalry and is around rank 80. So road to Kharkov, pretty well known that the north spawn on this map is very tricky. Did get redesigned at one point. Initially when it was redesigned, this cutoff here, or both cutoffs, were actually like way back here, very close to the base, almost impossible to reach. But then they moved them back out here and they're very hard. The northern one is very hard to defend still. Similar situation before the map redesign was done. Both players getting down their sandbags in the early game. I think this map is pretty decent for the Kubel. So a little bit disappointed not to see a Kubel from Syraw, because in 1v1s there's a little bit, it's like a reasonably large map, so having a Kubel to speed around the map, cap up territories is very useful. Also you can just, like, when the enemy's forces are diverted maybe on your side of the map, you can just kind of drive the Kubel onto their cutoff. Could work quite nicely. Very important, this house here, surprised we haven't seen earlier control of it. Ooh, and Syraw steals it at the exact right time, both squads right next to it. He's going to try to just scrap it out here. 3 windows only firing at the moment. So it looks like he's going to be able to brute force it. We've got squads coming around the side. No, he's running straight to the cutoff and he's jumping out of the building. A little bit late with this squad in support. And it's going to have to retreat shortly. Didn't actually see the Stern Pioneers in action very early. Syraw perhaps missing a little bit of opportunity to get aggressive with the Stern Pioneers. And only a 3 rifle build for VindicatL makes me think he's probably going to be going into Lieutenant. Indeed. However, maybe. It depends. When you go for 3 rifles, generally it goes into M20, but it seems like his timing for the M20 will be a little bit slow. But he could also be going for Lieutenant into Captain, like almost immediately. And that would perhaps account for his build a little bit, maybe with a 50 cal in the interval. So far Syraw has actually held on to his cutoff. VindicatL hasn't really tried to push it. Oh, and this onto the retreat path. Stern Pioneers.
We have a lieutenant report.
Reloading.
Frontline units are being hung out to dry.
Oh, that was a close call. That was a really close call.
Point is being overrun.
Kind of unfortunate. Stern Pioneers reloaded like right when the rifleman was really close. So kind of missed firing time when they're at their most accurate. Very close to a wipe, and nice awareness from him to try and move that squad into the retreat path to try and get the wipe. Tech truck for Syraw. Looks like he's bringing it back towards his base. Makes me think he's going to be putting down the mid truck. There's indeed a lieutenant with the 50 cal.
50
cal, very powerful against OKW.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
It's got good suppression. Good at like stopping their blobs of fox grenadiers running around. Oh, nice incendiary grenade. Both those squads get forced away. 50 cal sets up. Oh, that squad instantly retreats. I think it could have crawled out there, and because he's winning the engagement on the side, could then have pushed the 50 cal. So a missed opportunity there for Syraw, but I think he's content to just sit on the fuel and try and get that direct harassment that way. Rear echelons, on the other hand, going straight for the fuel as well. Just had to abandon that. Jumping onto the other side of the cover. This wire here has actually made it a little bit inconvenient for him to like run around the side of the cover. It's actually quite nice. Steam Pioneer's engaging here. Oh, unusual. Jumps out on the wrong side of the building, but doesn't end up mattering too much. Flak half track for Syraw, very late though. Very, very late. Look, he's got 40 fuel. And a half track from VindicatL, so I wasn't really expecting that, but still going to be very powerful. Because it does kind of bully the flak half track. Flak half track can usually come out a little bit earlier. But Syraw perhaps didn't have the manpower at the time. Here comes the flak half track, setting up, but AA half track's right nearby. And in a straight fight, the AA half track will win. Both of them trying to use attack ground on each other. The key though is for your AA half track to be set up so the auto cannon's firing, so it's not just the machine guns. So we're doing the right thing, getting a Raketin, because otherwise he stands no chance against this AA half track. Try and plant a mine deep in enemy territory, but not really worthwhile. Regular shoe mine's not going to one-shot a half track, so unlikely to get the kill. Well, this is a really bad idea as well. Rear armor facing towards the 50 cal. That is a really bad idea. Luckily, it looks like the line of sight isn't working too well here for 50 cal. Can't actually target it, but now he'll probably start lighting it up. So we've had weapon tech for VindicatL. It's got a bar on the squad now. VindicatL players got fully upgraded with STGs, so those bars are really essential for VindicatL. He's got quite a lot of munitions. He can also we'll get at least one bar on every squad. Kitten sets up there but doesn't get a shot on. Second truck coming in for Syraw. He has gone for special operations. We saw the infiltration grenades earlier. So I'll be interested to see what he gets with this tech truck. I suppose he's going to put down tier 4 somewhere. Getting creeping forwards, doesn't get any shots in. He's on both hold fire and prioritize vehicles. Here we go, gets a shot in on a half track. But the 50 cal is right there, clears the model immediately, goes for attack ground there. Doesn't connect. It's a sandbag and doesn't end up getting the kill. But because of that, he knows, okay, there's nothing too scary for my flak half-track on the outside of the map, since the A half-track's just taking a whole bunch of damage. Get a bit aggressive with it for some retreats. Overall though, neither player's really got that aggressive this game. Quite often on this map you see some really aggressive dives and holds on the cutoffs, but we haven't really seen that so far. Gotta be careful at this point in the game firing at a rifle squad like this. Oh, that's exactly why, because you can expect them to pop Vet 1 at any point, which they just did, which they weren't before, so can't be like, oh man, they're not vetted up yet, I'm safe to be a bit aggressive with my flak half track. No, gotta be like, okay, they're probably like 2 bullets away from veterancy. I should still play this cautiously. Didn't backfire for them there, but could have. Now Syraw kind of getting pushed back, the A half track overwhelming him. So see some rangers coming in for VindicatL.
Our supply line just got cut off.
Tech structure is up and probably would be firing at that rifle squad if he had sight of it, but didn't. Well, looks like he's almost forgotten about that, but ends up retreating. Flak half track really hasn't got that much done so far this game. Does make it so much harder to position it properly when you always need your kitten nearby and support, otherwise you can just get overwhelmed. It does make positioning a lot more delicate.
Prepare for combat. Standing by for orders. Hey, listen up. Listen up.
Thompson's about to pop on those rangers, make them a lot more fearsome. Incendiary grenade goes in. Whoa, he retreated that. I'm kind of surprised. Still on quite high health, but maybe he wants to conserve the manpower. Syraw now kind of backed into a smaller section of the map. Creeping forwards now with his Rakidin. Very unusual. Keeps facing his back towards the enemy with the flak half track. Big mistake, because that extra bit of armor really comes in handy against, small arms, the machine guns, and the A half track. It's really important to your flak half track's durability to face it forwards towards the enemy. Can't clear the arc of the machine gun there. Oh, looks like the Rakidin got spotted by that retreating squad. Trying to reposition it now. Repositions to suppress the bazooka squad. We've got 2 squads coming in from the side. Gotta make sure that the flak half track suppresses them. This Rakidin's kind of running right into the rangers. Missed micro there from Syraw. An AT grenade goes off on the flak half track. You really see the nerf to its suppression there. Didn't suppress both of those squads. He managed to suppress one of them. Don't know if he spotted that mine getting planted. But because he's planting that mine, wasn't actually repairing his flak half track, so it's going to be out of commission for quite some time now, because he's actually sent them over to deal with this lieutenant as well. My infiltration grenade should turn this engagement around. Otherwise it's like, oh, that was a bit risky closing in with the stern pioneers there. Both players floating a large amount of manpower. Syraw probably needs to get another support weapon, a machine gun. Whereas VindicatL, you know, still really far away from the Pershing. He's had very good fuel control so far. Probably should tech up himself. Because Syraw was very close to being able to bring in the Panzer IV, and he's got nothing against that now. Only a couple bazookas. Which against the OKW Panzer IV's high frontal armor is not really going to cut it. Yeah, probably also tick the minesweepers as well. Because he has run over at least one mine, right? This one over here. Kidding running over here. But having its line of sight blocked by this tree line here, I think. It's trying to creep it in. Your opponent is like standing like this. It is a little bit of a giveaway that they might be trying to get something into position on you. Kid misses that shot though. Now has to retreat. It's already a little bit low on health. Okay, flank after it gets the suppression in. Syraw, we're going way past Panzer IV territory here. Still floating a crazy amount of manpower there. These two have been playing very conservative style so far. Second 50 cal for VindicatL. With the arrival of that, probably going to need to see an infantry support gun. Oh, it goes down. That grenade too much to handle. So he's going to try steal it with that rifleman squad. The Rangers are there doing heaps of damage. But yeah, I mean, both players have been floating a crazy amount. 3 machine guns, often a little bit too much. But we'll see how he gets on. Syraw going straight for the Panther. I feel like he missed a timing window here where he could have got the Panzer IV out. Would have had supremacy over the A half track, could have fought his way back onto the field a little bit better. See, by going straight for the Panther, he will be, you know, pretty well defended against the Pershing, but Panther's not going to help him that much against the infantry. And VindicatL has had very good fuel control. I mean, just overall territory control in the meantime. Probably needs to rebuild his machine guns now as well. Like, I can understand the occasional 800 manpower float in like a very intense game. But he's been floating this amount of manpower now for probably close to 5 minutes. And that's just not acceptable. Okay, so here comes the Panther, being upgraded with a machine gun. That's an AT grenade. Oh, looks like we've got grenade tick as well from VindicatL. Which suggests to me he's definitely not thinking about ticking before getting the Pershing, which I think is a little bit of a mistake. Just waiting for the Pershing calling. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, VindicatL. Not very well prepared for a tank, only has the bazookas. You might as well just defuse that, man. Bazooka's not having an easy time targeting that mine. There we go. 3 times the charm. Okay, so Syraw finally spending his manpower float. 2 machine guns and ISG. Good decisions. He actually snuck the Echidna in here right in front of the machine gun with the camouflage, so he's able to cap with that, which is a nice move. Get this back up to full. So things looking pretty good for Syraw. It's now about how he can exploit this time before VindicatL hits 13 CPs, how much damage he can get done before the Pershing arrives. Oh, doesn't notice the Echidna until way too late. Now that's in jeopardy of getting stolen, which will be a bit of a disaster because Syraw currently doesn't have access to an anti-tank gun. Oh, the suppression kicks in just before he could crew it. Looks like he queued up the retreat command, so they retreated instantly after they got suppressed. But Syraw also unable to get the machine gun. ISG's right there, needs to start firing. And there it goes, it's starting the barrage now. And you see the Panther in there as well. Let's try and flank in with these. There's another machine gun though. It's like an onion, layer after layer of machine gun. Get this back up to full. Bazookas are also back on the field though. So he's even gone for a fuel cache. Seems like a real waste not to get major. It's like he's got like 400 fuel. Could take major. Still have enough for Pershing. Bazooka's trying to get round to the rear armor of the Panther, but Stone Pony is doing good damage to them. Panther just playing so cautiously. If you want to do maximum damage to you, you need to drive it in close so those machine guns can really inflict their damage. Playing at this range is not very effective against infantry. This infantry just charging forwards. Second machine gun in an awkward position. And machine gun gets cleared out. MG34 just doesn't quite have the suppression to stop an assault like that. Backup track finally comes in for some support. But Pershing's now on the field. And Panther has its rear armor facing forwards. A bit of a weakness. In fact, 3 T grenades is, yeah, that's the engine damage. No Raketten still out here decrewed. Looks like he managed to steal a 50 cal from this flank. Did Syraw. Needs to keep backing away here. Switches targets to the flak half track, buying a little bit of time actually. Squad threatens the Faust, forcing the Pershing away. Overall, things could have gone a lot worse for Syraw there. Both the team weapons are available for recrewing out here. Didn't lose his Panther or his flak half track and managed to steal a 50 cal, which is better. It's better than the MG34 for sure, so he's got to be happy about that. Popping a flare, seeing what's where. Yeah, Lieutenant now Vet 3 got that permanent out of combat sprint. Makes the officers very strong for capping the map in the late game. Oh, machine gun gets caught setting up. I think with this much firepower frontally, it's not going to get a chance to go off. Comes the Panther. Jagdpanzer there as well. Non-prioritized vehicles, so gives away its position. Panther not chasing in here. Machine gun preventing the recrew. Machine gun MG34 actually gets stolen by VindicatL, so now he's got 4 machine guns, which is a hell of a lot. That many units in his army composition, it doesn't actually leave him room for another vehicle right now. So even though he's ticked major, unless he loses something. He can't get another vehicle. Two tanks duking it out. Quite an even match between these two frontally. I think, yeah, the Pershing has what, 300 armor in the front. Panther has 260 nowadays. Panther having more health now though, 960 versus 800. I don't remember what the Pershing penetration is though. Panther is about 220. So a pretty high chance to penetrate Pershing. Syraw really needs to be a little bit better about his team weapon preservation though. He's just going to be losing them quite easily. I know it's very frustrating as OKW with the MG34. It seems like a lot of squads can just run up to it frontally and they can throw a grenade on your machine gun before they get suppressed. It can be quite frustrating. But he's gone one step further than that in his control. It's just been a little bit sloppy. And generally hasn't shown that much urgency about trying to regather his lost, well, decrewed team weapons in the center. Once again, floating quite a lot of manpower as well. We need another squad of infantry, maybe some obers to try and combat this elite infantry, or perhaps you should consider getting a walking Stuka out. Does have the artillery flares as an option, and he's fighting against 4 machine guns, so does need indirect fire to deal with them, especially on a map like this. Generally 2 machine guns can just about lock down this map, but 4 is going to be very hard to push without indirect fire. Syraw did have quite good VP control in the early game though, and his VPs are still a decent chunk ahead. So still got time to work this comeback. Popping radio silence. Getting his next truck now, yeah, okay, so perhaps he is going to go for the walking Stuka. Still could do with one more squad of something, or perhaps another machine gun. Just that grenade pretty well. Range is up to Vet 3 now though, very scary. He's got the flares up. I'm surprised he's not pushing forwards with his Jagdpanzer here, trying to get some pot shots on the Pershing. Pershing has 45 range, Jagdpanzer has 60, so you got to exploit that 15 range edge to your advantage when you have something like flares up, giving you sight. Get a few pot shots in. Start trying to vet this Jagdpanzer up. Hasn't got any damage in so far. Finally mobilizing the Jagdpanzer now. Penetrates with his first shot. Nice. The Jagdpanzer penetration around 170, I think. So yeah, not quite as strong as the Panther, but has a much stronger rate of fire to make up for it, as well as its lower cost. And walking Stuka is in production for Syraw, but as I said, still floating quite a lot of manpower. Still has room in his army for another unit or two, so no real excuse not to have spent it. Dicto on the other hand, right at his supply limit. And you know, with the way things are going currently, he doesn't really need to change his composition, because he's in the driver's seat right here. Is being quite passive though. His units. Kind of content to just camp 2 VPs and not really put much pressure on the 3rd VP. Which does leave room for Syraw to, you know, adjust his army composition and get back into the game. He has gone for a second machine gun. Maybe that's a recruit one. No, it's like a fresh machine gun. Stuka barraging. Looks like he's targeting this machine gun. Nope. Goes after the A half track. Oh, and the unit inside the building. Lost a unit. Looking at the what did he lose? Oh, the lieutenant. Ah. That's a pretty good first barrage for the walking Stuka. Take out the lieutenant. There it goes in. That's grenades holding the line here. Pershing and Jagdpanzer a little bit slow to reposition, trying to deal with the Pershing. There they go. Gets a good 1-2 punch in. 50 cal. Just to retreat. Should have known about this machine gun. He spotted it with the artillery flares earlier, so shouldn't have been any surprise about its position. Could have avoided running right into the machine gun like that. Okay, so after losing a lieutenant, a little bit of army supply freed up, and he's gone for a Sherman, which I think is the wrong decision here. Should have gone for the Jackson. So if you think about it, his army composition, all of this, basically all the infantry, except for the rear echelons, is dedicated to dealing with infantry. And he seems to be containing the infantry pretty successfully. However, he's only... Oh, here comes a rocket barrage. Targeting the machine gun this time. It's 3 models, not a bad barrage, and it's got to vet 1 now. But yeah, he's already got so much anti-infantry. Needs a little bit more anti-tank. Jackson provide a little bit of extra firepower against these two. There's the Sherman. It's not going to be too effective, though the Sherman could be nice if you're trying to go in for like a dive, like a big flank, a little bit cheaper, more expendable, but judging from what we've seen so far from Syraw, he doesn't seem like the kind of player who goes in for those aggressive pushes. And now Syraw in control of that central VP. He's got double machine guns kind of covering it. Still managed to get a grenade off of that range. And yeah, as you hear there, VP's very close to even, despite VindicatL, I feel like having a pretty big lead throughout most of this match. Hasn't really converted it in terms of VP score. I think that's because, as I said, he hasn't really properly tried to contest this VP. Kind of camping the side of the map. And now with that walking... Stuka about to run right into the A half-track. That was a close call. Open the flares. Looks like he maybe wants to target the ambulance.
Americans just eliminated a gun crew.
Not sure exactly what he's trying to target with that walking Stuka barrage. Wasn't very successful. Black Panzer having a sight blocked by that little hedge there. Not able to contribute. Could have used the attack ground though if he wanted. One thing that VindicatL could make use of is the smoke screen on the Sherman. Quite good for smoking out machine guns before you push in with your infantry. So I haven't really seen him use smoke on his rear echelons or officer when he had it. Pushing in here. Black Panzer and Panther in a really good position to repel this assault. Getting a few lucky bounces, but 2v1 can't really fight it. Hey, half-track though, he's going a little bit suicidal. Oh, and he somehow still has sight of it. Gets the kill. A half-track goes down. Wasn't really contributing that much, but still a costly loss. Get ready to fire. Okay, Vet 2, it gets quite a lot better, doesn't it? Okay, creeping forward with cautious movement. Because VindicatL lost that A half-track now once again, he's got a little bit of room in his army to consider getting a different unit. Ooh, nice Stuka barrage that time. It's Vet 2, and that's when we know Stuka starts to become a real beast with that cooldown bonus. Unfortunately, there's really no match against those Vet 3 Rangers up close. That's where he needs his A half-track. He's bringing it in now. Looks like the machine gun's gonna take a HE grenade. Oh, very close to a wipe, and he gets it with a little bit of follow-up fire. Decides to retreat after getting that wipe. Panther and Jagdpanzer are very defensive once again. Oh, he's gone for a command Panther. After losing that machine gun, he's just enough his army. Won't be able to reinforce this infantry now, however. Perhaps he's in a situation where he could try to lose one of his units to try to free up a bit of army's supply. And he's got all 3 tanks here. He's going to just run straight at this Pershing with them. Got the flares going as well, so he knows exactly what's where. Get those long range shots going. Panther's missing though, not very good at firing on the move. One of them's taking engine damage. And the Pershing goes down. He can call in another one immediately, and he does. Sherman also goes down. Ambulance is there, but doesn't get killed. Bazooka's trying to knock out the high veterancy Panther. Lots of anti-tank grenades going off as well. Syraw needs to keep backing these up. Pershing coming in. I think he's going to lose this Panther. Could lose the Jagdpanzer as well if he's not paying attention. Finally gets that back in motion now. A little bit late. More squads coming in on the rear. Okay, Stuka barrage. Oh, double grenades. Oh, he loses one squad to them. And that Stuka barrage way off target. Panther not on prioritized vehicles, shooting at infantry accidentally. Jagdpanzer standing its ground, and they knock out the Pershing. Jagdpanzer goes down in the process, but the Vet 4 now Panther looks like it's going to get away. So Syraw, I think, overall coming out on top there. VindicatL losing 2 Pershings and a Sherman. Where Syraw losing his Jagdpanzer and a Volksgrenadier squad. VindicatL still, you know, like, he had so much floating, he's going to be able to call in another one of these right now. But
Combat unit ready for action.
Still, that was quite a costly engagement for him. And that's what I was talking about. I'm going for the Sherman instead of Jackson as a mistake, because as you saw there, he's got overwhelmed by his opponent's vehicles. Didn't have enough in response. Here comes the walking Stuka barrage. Oh, direct hit knocks out their machine gun. Weapon is destroyed. It's now down to just 3 machine guns. So it's got a little bit behind in the VPs in this process. Is able to reinforce his squads now though that he's lost the Jagdpanzer. Panther doing a little bit of bullying here. He's got a better line of sight. Take those long range shots. Also has the coordinated fire, which can really come in handy. Just a heavier, more healthy and heavy armored vehicle like the Pershing. Bonus damage comes in handy. Hasn't managed to get the machine gun upgrade on there. He's been strapped for munitions. Using quite a lot of those flares. Late. I say late grenade dodge. Didn't actually dodge the grenade at all. Looking Stuka ready to fire once more. Oh, it looks like he's got one bazooka on most of this infantry. I didn't even realize that he didn't have double bars on all his squads. So that's what he's doing for his anti-tank. Oh, he loses a rifle squad there. Late retreat. So having one bazooka on each of his squads will, you know, provide a little bit of a disincentive towards that kind of dive like Syraw did before, because bazookas on the rear arm of the Panther's going to penetrate it freely. But still, like in a front-on head-to-head engagement, VindicatL is lacking a bit of firepower. These double Panthers just overwhelming him here. Something about that walking Stuka, hasn't fired for a while now. Whoa, what was that? Did they just throw a grenade from here all the way over to here? That was insane. Ooh, huge Stuka barrage there. He had 18 kills before that. Oh, it's only 3 kills? 21? Did a lot of health damage though. Looked better than it was in reality. And now VindicatL getting pushed back. Losing control of the central VP, and it looks like Syraw is designed on this leftmost VP. This is something that VindicatL should have done himself. Tried to branch out for the third VP while he had a good advantage.
You remember Italy? Oh, maybe you guys weren't there. I was. 90-day wonders.
Okay, Jackson in production for VindicatL. This is his time to get back in the game. Losing that rifle squad before though was quite costly. Now looks like he's a little bit behind in the anti-infantry game, whereas before he had a pretty huge lead. Stuka, yeah, already firing again. It's for a sideways barrage. Just grazes it.
Tank destroyer is ready for orders.
Generally in those situations you want to do like a barrage towards the retreat path, so it's about right. Ooh, nice infiltration grenades. There's a lot of health damage. Yeah, so he ends up retreating both of those. Which is, I think, an unnecessary retreat, honestly. Machine gun gets flanked, has to retreat.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points. Enemy infantry.
Okay, so Jackson's takes a 1-2 punch from the Panthers straight away and bounces its first shot. Horrible start. Now Jackson's going to get cleaned up by the vet for Both Panthers on the Pershing's rear armor. It's trying to juke them, but using smoke. Bazookas are there trying to contribute. Oh, and down goes the Pershing. Could lose one Panther here, but even with that being the case, VindicatL, I believe, throws in the towel. So yeah, overall I think VindicatL, he had a good lead this game, but just wasn't aggressive enough pushing for the third VP. Syraw adapted well, getting the walking Stuka to counter all the team weapons. Inflicted quite a lot of hurt. Also amassed a critical amount of armor. Pushed in. His opponent just had the wrong army composition, barely had any anti-tank, and got bullied. Lost most of his units and just couldn't come back from that last engagement there. A little bit unfortunate for VindicatL, I think. There's Jackson's positioning, just like instantly taking 2 shots from the Panthers, but that's how it is. I think also VindicatL a little bit premature on some of his retreats. Just like in that situation before where he took those infiltration grenades, he still had at least one of those 2 squads could have stayed on the battlefield. Perhaps, if it was a squad with the anti-tank grenade and the bazooka, he wouldn't have got bum rushed so badly right there. Anyway, closely contested map, but quite passive from both players as well. Like both of these factions are usually quite aggressive, and both these players kind of more passive in their gameplay, especially on a map like Road to Kharkov, where the cutoffs are usually so prominent. Such a heavily featured component of this map. But anyway, I'll wrap on that, guys. If you like your game to be cast by me, details in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.